We're going to look at now division algorithm for base 5. And we said, as with base 10 elementary school students, this is one of the most difficult algorithms. Same is true for base 5 because the conceptual understanding is needed. But first, looking at 2, 3 divided by 4, right? You can solve that through repeated subtraction. There's your 2, 3, and how many times do I subtract 4? And so you see that I do it 3 times, remainder 1. And so looking at a problem like that in terms of how do we do that long division wise? Let's use not that marker, I picked the wrong one. Here is what you're really doing, right, is saying, okay, here's your 2, 3, that's a 4. How many times is 4 going to 2? Doesn't. How many times is 4 going to 2, 3? 2, 3 is 13, so that's how we know it's 3. 4 times 3 is 12, but that's 2, 2, remainder 1. And so we now know that it's 2, 3 divided by 4 is 3, remainder 1. Sorry, 3, remainder 1. There's our answer. That's our long division algorithm, right, in terms of how we would solve that problem. But again, doing long division, especially in base 5, points out the difficulties of learning this algorithm, right? Especially, right, the need for understanding kind of the multiples of how often a number goes into another number. And so here is this same problem here, done multiple ways here, right? Find the division of 1443 divided by 34. And so you can see there's a process here in terms of how we go about thinking about to solve that problem here. And so the standard algorithm is done here, right? 3, 4 goes into 1, 4. No. Does it go to 1, 4, 4? How many times? This is hard to do because what you have to do is you have to keep track of, okay, does 3, 4 go into 1, 4? Nope. Does it go into 1, 4, 4? Yeah, well, it does, because but you have to think about, well, what is 1, 4, 4? 1, 4, 4 is 49. And then we know that 3, 4 is 19. So you really do have to ask yourself, now, does 19 go into 41, 4, 4? But 1, 4, 4 is 49, and it does 2 times. And then you have to then do, okay, what's 2 times 3, 4? And so that's where you get your 1, 2, 3. So you can see it's hard to kind of keep track of all that, because you do have to know what this quantity represents. Once I know it was 2, I had to do 3, 4 times 2. There's your 8. That's 3, 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's your 1, 2, 3. And that's where this 1, 2, 3 comes from. And then we subtract. There's your 1, there's your 2, and then you bring down the 3. And then you ask yourself the question, how many times does 3, 4 go into 2, 1, 3? Well, we learned that 2, 1, 3 is 58. That's the quantity. And we know 3, 4 goes into 3 times by multiplying and checking. Does it? Oh, it does. It goes 2, 1, 2. And so then you get your answer of 2, 3, remainder 1. And so in the end, this answer is 2, 3, base 5, remainder 1. Again, these are not easy problems to solve. We're just going to stick with base 5 here. And then trying to solve this using a scaffold approach, right, which you can see a beginning here. This is one process. I'm just going to go with tens because tens are easy to manage, right? And so we end up with 3. How many times does 3, 4 go into this number? I don't know, but I know it goes 10. And so then from here I can subtract 0, 1. How many times does 3, 4 go into this? I know it's not 10, it's not 5, but you know what? Well, maybe it is. Let's see. It's 5 times. Let's make sure we did this calculation right here. Yep, and so you bring this down. Oh, forgot the 1 here. Bring that 1 down here. How many times does 3, 4 go into that? I know 10 times, so I'm just going to go with numbers that I know. I can do this multiplication. That's why 10 is a good number to use, right? Multiples of 10. There's your 3. I have to borrow, or not borrow, regroup from this one here. And so it's 5 minus 4 is 1, but then this needs to be 0. Then now it's 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. And so now I say, okay, how many times does 3, 4 go into this? I don't know exactly, but I am going to try. I know it's not 10 times. I'm going to just do 1 because I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to do it 1 time. I have to borrow here or regroup. This becomes a 1. 1, 3 minus 4 is 4, right? That's 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. And 1. Still not sure, so I'm just going to do 1 more time. This is 34. I get 0. This turns out to be a, I had to regroup this group of 25, and now I have 1, 2. It's not a 9, it's a 7, and I have 4. And then I say, okay, how many times? I know for sure it's 1 time. And then you have, this becomes a 5. 5 minus 4 is 1, and this is 0. So now we have our answer 10, 21, 2, 3. It's 23, or 2, 3, remainder 1. These are all base 5. So that's what we have there. And then, again, I would just use your preferred method to do long division. Since we're still beginning, I would use a scaffold method here to do this to get an answer. You have 22, 3, 4, 1, 2. Those are all base 5. And I know for sure it goes into it 10. Actually, 22 times 100, or 100, would give me that. I'm just going with numbers I messed up. I know for sure it goes into that many times. So that's going to be one of the numbers I keep. Subtract now 1, 2, and then this is 1. How many times does 22 go into this? I'm not sure, but I know for sure instead of, if I do, let's see, let's pick another number. Let's go with, I'm going to go with, can't do 5. Yeah, let's do 5 times here. Let's go with 5. 22 times 5 here is just going to be half of this. So that would be that right there. Instead of 2200, it's 11, because this is 25. Oh, sorry, no, I have to do that calculation. Sorry, see, it's 22 times, if we put it as a 5, let's do that again. I'm going to do it that time. That gives me only that, right? So subtract 2. They need to regroup. Becomes a 1. This becomes a 6 minus 2 is 4, but I needed to make that, so I need to regroup from that. So this is 6 minus 2 is 4 again. I know it goes in at least 1 0 times, so that would be 2, 2, 0, 2, 2, 2. I'm going to do that again. There we go. 2, 2, 0. And so then you have that. So now I have my answer here. It's going to be 1, 0, 0, 10, 10, 10. So this is 1, 3, 0, remainder 2. And you're going to notice I added a check here. How would you check if you got your answer right? You do 130 times 2, 2. Do your multiplication. I got 3410, and then the remainder 2. Add that 2 on. I got 3412 is what we have here.